Alright, tonight I want to do a little short story. I have finally finished my Villisca Warrior. And I wrote this 3 years ago due to the fact that there was a lot of stuff going on back in them days and even still today. I mean, just wasn't them, but there's a lot of kids getting murdered, raped. Still is, like I said, today, but to see the broken justice system let these people back out on the street, 2 people in general, Kaylee Anthony's mother, I will not mention her piece of shit name, streets among us. Whoops, that didn't cut off, but it's sick. And not only them, you got Jeremiah Oliver. So I mean, this story came out with a lot of hatred in it, a lot of pure evil. And if you read the first part of Villisca Warrior, part 1, part 2, you'll get a hint of it. But to give a little briefing, this is something that just literally rolled in my mind. I was especially being heavy into searching on the Native Americans in the past 6 years. And, there's nothing more in the world that I would love to see than this to happen. Or maybe in a Running Man form also. Of course, if anybody didn't see that, I advise you to go check out Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Awesome movie. Now, if they would put the real bad guys into that, child molesters, child killers, serial rapists, stuff like that, then we would have an awesome movie here. But I'm focusing more on the child killers and, rapists. And, I would love nothing more to see these people burn to where they stand for doing the things they do to innocent children. And like I said, the justice system is so broke. And let these people walk on the street. That's nice to know. But I left off the story with a huge bonfire going. Of course, this story has a lot to do with Native Americans and what they used to do in the past. And I just brought it forward to the future, and it has heavily things to do with, the white man ripping and raping their children, and the white man killing and bringing them off to slavery type things. So, I mean, I just brought everything that pretty much the Indians did to the white man for self-defense. Self-defense, that's what it was, because they got their land stolen from them, but also their children's innocent. So, I mean, I just put it in this story. And check out the first 2 parts, Villisca Warrior. And, I mean, the story, I'll say, starts off with a man and his daughter getting raped and murdered. There was 2 men in his house. He came home to be knocked out cold and to wake up to seeing his daughter on the bed raped and murdered. So, I mean, and for the people to be free like they do and let them go, that's what happened pretty much in the story here. And what happened to this person, which I named him Pete, only rolls out to show you, some people do lose their minds when stuff like this happens. And I mean, when you got a young kid in there, innocent, is raped from them and taken And I just came out with the most horrific thing that I would love to see happen to a child molester killer. And I just put it in this story. And I mean, if there was a justice system that would put this forth to be had and be done, which there's only one thing in this that's non-fiction, fictional, is the skinwalker. I would love to have, but this made the story complete when I added this, so, I mean, I was, really debating on the ending of it and how I wanted it to end, but I think this came out pretty damn good. But if this was to be a thing that could happen, I would love to see it happen. I mean, not just with a, more or less say, with like the Running Man, the hunted to be, the hunters of prey of children to be hunted and killed themselves and tortured. But you have to read it to get the full story, but like I said, this is part 3, the end of the Villisca Warrior, and I'm going to narrate it. I just finished this up the other night. It all flooded my head, and I feel awesome with this story and how I had it ended it. Villisca Warrior 3, like I said, I ended with the, in part 2, the 2 men were running into the woods. Bear with me. Alright. Like I said, the 2 guys ran into the woods. There was a bonfire lit up. They were like pyrotech things that burned, and then it died out, and now they're left in the woods. And this is what happens next. This is what happens to my ending. Love it. As the 2 pervs ran throughout the woods, as the huge fire burned out, stopping to catch their breath, all was quiet. Their ears were ringing from the dead silence. And all of a sudden, one guy heard something that sent a huge relief to his fear. He started asking the other guy if he heard that. The guy says, "What?" He yelled, "The city, you asshole." The other guy, yeah. They started to jet towards the sounds of the city traffic. Their adrenaline was pumped hard, and the more the sounds got louder, the excitement ran wildly through their minds. As they looked at each other, smiles grew big on their faces. One even said, "You know what we're going to do to celebrate?" That's right, some young, fresh meat. Laughing and feeling good that they were just moments away from being free, back to the old roots of the molesting the young and taking their innocence. Then out of nowhere there was the voice of Pete, ran cold through the night. "You think you can run, hide, escape. Now I summons out the beast. The white man brought nothing but sorrow to my people and to harm our children. You will suffer just like our children." Then the screaming began, the Native American war chants. Then a word the 2 men never heard. "Yeenald Ushi. Yeenald Ushi" was chanted again and again. What the fuck is he yelling? I don't know. Keep running. Now the fear really kicked in. They began to trip and fall, but the city got closer. Then a scream like no other began to echo demonically throughout their bodies. Chills ran down their spines. Sounds. They stopped to look at each other, but said nothing. This thing began to snap trees and growl like a demon of hell. It was far, but they knew it was moving forward towards them. "Run," one screaming out. Then they heard Pete again yelling, "Now you will witness my ancestors' creation, a thing that takes all away from the enemies that took away from us. You will now meet the Skinwalker, Ye Naldushi." The men, petrified with fear, just continued to run. And before they knew it, they ran into a wall, black as the night, 20 feet tall. They began to scream, "No, what the fuck?" Then from a distance, the sound of the beast got louder. Then all of a sudden, it let out a scream so loud and evil. The men began to cry and help, Jesus Christ, help. Look, a ladder. Run. Climb the fucking thing. They stopped at the bottom because the sound stopped. They looked around, but nothing was near. They started climbing the ladder and made it to the top, balancing the top, looking down the other side. They could see the city's lights, but no ladder down. Tuck. Oh, whoops. Tuck. Fuck. What we gonna do? Now, the hell. How the hell do I know? Oops, put now. Damn spell check. Standing, just deciding if we go back, find another way, or jump. Start walking. You go that way, I'll go this way. Find a tree. Slowly they walked along the wall. Their skin was crawling with fear of this thing stalking them. And it was worse not knowing what it was. Then all of a sudden, scratches along the wall made both men stumble and almost fall. They both kneeled and held on with both hands. What was that? I don't know. Then growling began. They both looked down, noticed two big red-eyed, bloodshot eyes staring at them. Fuck! They crawled on their hands and knees, yelling, "Find a tree! Find a tree!" Then the ladder began to shake and move. Heavy breathing and growls filled the air as this beast creeped up the ladder. The two men kept looking back. Then one guy screamed, "I found a tree!" The other guy immediately turned. "I'm coming. Wait!" Crawling as fast as he could. A sign of relief came when he passed the ladder, moving violently now. He reached the ladder, then began to climb down the tree. Whoops, I forgot to say he passed the ladder. Yeah, sorry about that. He passed the ladder. I don't know why I put reached. He passed the ladder, then began to climb down the tree. I was supposed to put he passed the ladder, reached the tree, started to climb down it. The tree, then it was coming up on the wall. The guy on top was its upper body. Saw its upper, goddamn friggin' spell check. Saw its upper body. Its face looked as if its skin was hanging, bones backwards, and exposed the smell of rotting corpse. Now, normally I forgot to say, when you sit back, turn out the light, and listen to this, is the best way to endure my stories. Narration is what I like to do, and you put yourself in this story, and you think, and to see what you can get out of it. I mean, that's the best way to get a story read to you. So we have a smelling corpse, rotting corpse. The man froze in pure fear. The beast screamed, then jumped in mid-air and landed right near the guy. Then he dropped. Both men fell, breaking branches, getting cut, screaming on the way down. Trying to break their fall, they hit the ground hard. "Run, run," is all one guy said. The beast thumped like thunder. when it hit, letting out more demonic screaming. They got up to run for their lives. The sounds of the city traffic made the men run like they were fit marathon runners. The fence they could see, and all they needed to do was hop it. Then bang! The two men with huge headaches slowly opened their eyes. The smell of blood ran through their noses as it ran down their faces. Looking around and hanging from a tree, Pete came out of nowhere. You think you can just leave and not pay for your dirty work of what you've done? The both men looked at Pete and said, "You're fucking crazy. And when we come up missing and they find us, you will suffer for your crimes. You can't take us in by your law. We have rights, and we can get a lawyer, and when they find no evidence on us like they always do, we'll be back on the street doing what we love." "Wrong," Pete said. "As I walk these streets, there will be no more harm to the children, and my beast will put an end to your sickness. No more of your sick fucks to roam the earth one by one. You will all disappear." As Pete ended his speech, the skinwalker came up behind Pete, and the two men were frozen in deep fear. The smell of rotting bodies filled the air. I had a little interruption. The men, rotting bodies filled the air. The men began to gag. The skinwalker put his bone hanging flesh. Oh, let's see, what the hell did I write? Put his bone hanging flesh hand on Pete's shoulder and have a dead-eaten grin on its face. One man said, "Good, I get to watch it kill you." "No, you fool," Pete said. "This is my heritage. It's my family. It's not here for me." Then the beast and Pete began to laugh insanely together. The two men started to scream, "No, stop, stop!" And the skinwalker began to shred the men to pieces. The end. In closing, I hope one day the justice system really takes into child molester monsters and killers and makes this happen. Monsters hunted by monsters and make their lives as dead as it gets. And I said, "Fuck you, scum." So that's my story of the Villisca warrior. You have to catch the first two intros to get the full story, but I pretty much like that ending. Like I say, I wish something would be betterly done to these perverts, to these killers that all stand out there, harm the innocent. It's sick. Something needs to end. And I'm sick of watching these people walk on the street. And if they put something like this together, man, oh, that'd be something great to watch. Until that next video, be safe, take care, out.